So the last time we talked, we had the frame sent out to sandblast, I believe. But it came back, and since then, we've removed the front and rear suspension from it. And now, we've been removing the suspension hangers off the rear and some off the front. You can see them over there. And we've kind of worked down this side and removed the rivets from the outside edges. There's still a couple on the bottom. And so what we lack is these on the outside and the two on the bottom. And then because this truck has had the Ford V8 brackets added to it, we're going to cut all of this off. So I've already cut through the welds on the top side of both of these brackets. We're just going to turn the frame upside down and knock those off and then finish cutting these and remove them, because they will certainly be in the way of an engine install. Even though they might clear, there's no reason for these things to be sitting there and problematic. Also, we've taken off everything in the cab that's was fastened to the firewall and got that cleaned up quite a bit. And that took some doing. It looks like Swiss cheese in there now. This Ford hangs a lot of stuff in these guys. Then from the good folks at Carolina Classics, we have our replacement sheet metal. These are the front cab supports. You can see they take two side panels and then a center section that they bend, and they weld those together and do a really good job on the outside of smoothing those welds down and grinding it. Then while we were there, we went ahead and ordered, meaning their website, went ahead and ordered their cab mount kit and then the radiator support mount kit, which comes with everything you need. It's really nice. Even instructions, which if you need instructions to do a radiator mount, I don't know. So that's done. Also, we have for our Crown Vic swap, which I'm sure I showed you guys, we did pull this one from a salvage because it's the later model and there's no bushing rot or anything in this front end. So we're going to use it. And we have this Backyards custom kit to pull that off. So these are the lower control arm mounts. Those will weld to the frame there and bolt. And then this is the, I don't know if you'd call it the first gen of these boxes, because they have a pretty large logo. I think the newer ones have a smaller logo on them. But we'll have to cut those out, cut the section out of the frame and weld those boxes in to be mounting the Crown Vic front end in our frame. So that'll sit in here like that, and those will through bolt like so. And yeah, and the frame will be here, and there'll still be a little bit of room, but there's tons of videos out there showing that. But hey, there are many like it, but these ones are mine. Also, we brought this 93 Thunderbird home on a trailer and just jacked it up in the garage, left the car on the trailer, and pulled this rear suspension out of it. So nice independent rear suspension. Pretty cool thing that ended up happening. These were the wheels and tires that were on that Thunderbird, and they have two bolt patterns, which just so happens to, of course, one be the fit the Thunderbird, the other bolt pattern fits the Crown Victoria. So, as luck would have it, now we have wheels and tires to roll the thing around. Super handy. I see this comes up a lot online, so I thought I would help you guys learn. If you read this ID tag from Ford, there's a 3 way up here, then there's this 08. So this has 308 gears in it. A lot of people are looking back here at this number and they're saying, well, it's a 3E19, or maybe it'd be like a 3L26 or something. And they think that means it's a 326 gear with a locker, but that's just not true. The gear ratio is up here, and then this 88 means it's an 8.8 rear end. Also clearly states right down there 8.8. But you ought to know, if you've got one of these Thunderbirds, Cougars, Mark 8s, it's going to be an 8.8. So the kit to install this is on its way. Also, I've ordered motor mounts that go on this Crown Vic front suspension for this little guy. So go ahead and let the hate begin. It's a 6-liter LS. It's got a 6L90 6-speed transmission. This is out of a 1-ton van with all the accessories on it, top to bottom, complete wiring harness, computer, fuse box, even has the drive-by-wire pedal. So that's everything you kind of need, but you should really order up a wiring harness kit to install these, make your life much easier. And even if you don't, you're going to have the vehicle anti-theft systems turned off, or because we don't have the key in the factory ignition. It's going to be problematic because GM in their parts bin went and grabbed the newer generation LT throttle body instead of an LS throttle body like everything came with before this. That'll have to be changed. The transmission computer is inside the transmission, fastened to the top side of the valve body. So drain the fluid, pull the pan, pull the valve body, remove the transmission controller, send that off to the same folks that you get a different computer than this from. Those two have to match each other or they won't be friends. But this is an E78 ECM, and nobody aftermarket really messes with those. So they're going to send you an older style computer with like a street rod harness. You got to send them the transmission control module. They have to make those things be buddies. Essentially, you spend all the money on this and then you drop another $1,500 in order to make this work in your old car or truck. So LS swaps aren't as cheap and easy as everyone thinks they are if you use the latest and greatest engine and transmission, which I think 2017 in the vans was the last of the LS generation motors, and this is a 2016, so it'd be the same. Anyway, takes money to play, I guess. I wanted to show you this really cool thing about this 6L90 transmission, and that's the size of this drive shaft yoke. Like, I do not have small hands, and this sucker is absolutely ridiculous. Oh, and heavy. So for a comparison, here's the U-joints and the snout of like a 64 F100 or a 93 Ford Thunderbird, which they're about the same size as a truck. But you look at the size difference between these and then look at the thickness of the metal used to make these guys. There's a huge difference in strength. Of course, moving a 1-ton van around takes a lot more power and a lot more steel than 4,000-pound cars. But anyway, I just thought you guys would want to see that. That's awesome. So today, I wanted to give you an update on those parts that were here, the things that we've done, the current state of our frame, and I'll show you guys how we're taking those rivets off, and we'll flip the frame over and see about cutting these V8 frame mounts off so we can have this thing ready to send back to the sandblaster now that we removed everything that's in the way of them being able to do their job. That was easy enough. I mean, it was easy enough with a grinder and an air hammer and a pry bar. But it's done. All the hangers are now off of the frame from the old suspension. Also that old cross member section that someone had cut into. Went ahead and removed those from inside the frame rails. And then took those gussets out that held the V8 mounts. So there should be plenty of room now. This should be able to stay in place when we cut this out and do the Crown Vic swap. A lot of your later models than 64, I think it changed in 65 as a matter of fact, have different suspension. They tell you to cut all this out and just put a support brace across there, but that can stay there. It's not going to interfere with where the Crown Vic suspension needs to mount, so we know it's in a good spot. And I think the engine will clear it as well, like we spoke about earlier. So, appreciate you guys watching. Smash the like button and comment and share it with all your friends and send it to people you don't like, etc., etc. But as always, thanks for watching. That's it and that's all. We'll see you later, y'all.